I'd like to welcome all of you to another one of our co-founder trainings, Thursday, April 17th, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're talking about gratitude today. I just got done sharing a video that has been on the YouTube channel for a year now. And let me just go there again, share my screen. So we were just looking at this video here. Love, gratitude, and unity. Let me grab this. I'll put this into the Telegram group. Just open the Telegram group real quick. Okay, there we go. Oh, someone already put it in there. Thanks, Hunter. You beat me to it. All right.
Gotta be quick around here.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay. All right. So let's just have a conversation about this. Okay. I'll close this so don't distract me. Um, okay. All right. So yeah, we could be talking about other things today other than gratitude, but as I contemplate that which is going on and that which we need to focus on, some of you might be thinking we should be talking about, the alert, but hey, by this time next week, that issue be gone, right? So it's very temporary. Whereas gratitude, the need for it in within the community, that's like going to be an ever growing thing. It's never ends. And we need a lot more of it right now. We need actually more expression of gratitude happening inside of the community. And that will do for us is it's going to make the giveaway. It'll basically put like gasoline on the fire. You ever put gasoline on the fire, see what happens? I mean, who's done that before? You know, yeah, big flames. So gratitude is one of those things that it will expand everything very, very fast, like gasoline. And um, let me put it to you this way. I call for putting positive comments on, everywhere you can when it comes to pool funding, like the YouTube channel, all those videos there, the Telegram group there, and even in your individual dialogues with each other in respect to pool funding, there's going to be several opportunities there to express gratitude. Okay. What if every time you express gratitude, you got paid $1,000? Would you be willing to express gratitude then?
Of
Like
course.
like you write a positive comment and then cha-ching, all of a sudden $1,000 hit your wallet, right?
Absolutely.
You see, the thing is, um, you almost can't, put a price on something like this, like how much it ripples and how much value it brings. Like I think even one positive comment's got the power to spread $1,000 out there, right? $1,000 of activity could happen out of a single positive comment. Okay. Yet we, don't see that, right? A lot of times that we're focused on the wrong things, you know. Um, and while, challenges and problems are, certainly something that we need to deal with, but by nature, those are very temporary. As soon as we complete the resolution of a problem or a challenge, then it's over, right? And so what we want to do if we want to be grounded and be like solid, like immovable, like really powerful, we got to stick to the things that have, that are lasting, gratitude and love and unity. Where those things are established, it has it has a lasting effect. Okay. And then the more of it, the better. I saw a recent comment that blew my mind away. And I responded with a Giphy that was like, like, wow. Um, and then I watched the reaction of everyone else, and I'm like, did they miss this? Did they not see this? Because it should have spurred like what it should have done, and it should have created a bit of a buying frenzy, but it didn't. And that's because I think too many of us have our attention on other things, and we don't see opportunities when they pop up right in front of us. Okay. I'm going to share that comment with you in a moment here. But I just want to talk about the principle itself. Okay. Um, can we agree? Gratitude feels good, right? Can we agree on that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. When somebody sincerely says thank you to you, feels good, doesn't it?
Yes.
Right? Anybody agree with Hunter? Because he's the only one saying yes. You
Yes.
can all unmute and say
Yes.
yes if you
Yeah,
agree.
heck yeah.
The other thing is that if it's really sincere, the expression of gratitude also feels good. So actually sending gratitude and has like another really good, another really
Exactly.
feel good, um, thing to it. So how many of you want to feel good? Tell me that. How many of you
I
want,
do.
how many of you
Starting
want
to feel good.
Let me just slip over to love for a second. Okay. Let's slip over to love. How many of you want to be loved?
I do.
I do.
I mean, like really
We all
loved.
do.
Like,
Yeah.
Very honest.
right? How many like being in love, where like your participation is there and you are expressing love because you're in love, right? And you're expressing love.
I do.
Gratitude feeds love like nothing else. If you think about feeding love, making love stronger, bigger, better, you know, more enjoyable, nothing like gratitude. Gratitude is amazing as a co-ingredient, right? When you couple the two together, love and gratitude. And ultimately, it's all about creating unity. Because I'll be honest with you guys, I've been watching the other team for decades, long before I even thought about pool funding, long before the idea of pool funding ever entered my head. I've been watching what the other team has been doing, and in some messed up way, they have succeeded at unity. Okay, built on opposite principles like greed and fear and force. You know, the other team. And that's why, as of 2015, they succeeded at sucking the wealth away from humanity, so that only they were holding it. Like you saw the beginning of that video, right? The beginning of the video talked about wealth distribution and how the 1%. By the way, you got to be millionaire status or higher to be qualified as one of the 1%ers. Okay, just to put it in financial terms. So if you're a millionaire or higher, if you got $1 million of wealth, or you have an inflow of $1 million a year coming in to you, then you're in that 1% club, regardless if you're a part of the other team or not. Okay. But there's a team happening there. There's a team. I'm telling you, they're a team over there. And
Yeah.
they got a dark side. It's amazing dark side, and they believe in what they're doing. Okay. And they have succeeded as of 2015 of sucking the wealth away from humanity to the point where they actually own and control 99% of all the money in the world and 99% of all the wealth in the world. And how do you guys feel about that?
Sucks.
That means the remainder, the people that are not in the 1%, right? In other words, the 99%, they only have 1% of all the wealth in the world and all the money in the world to run global economies on, right? And
And
then,
can I correct you?
sure, go ahead.
It's actually, I remember that original video because you actually interviewed me in that video, and it's actually 1/2 of 1%.
It's even worse than that today. But yes, you're right. Because they doubled up after 2 years, right? But it's more time has passed, and so what we're seeing is we're seeing something play out. Okay, that and people talk about collapse and da 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 da. I mean, I don't want this to be that conversation because that's not really the point of where I'm going to take us today. But you need to be aware of what the other team is doing because the other team is all about control. Now, are they interested in controlling themselves or are they interested in controlling the 99%? What do you think? What do you think is the answer to that?
99%.
99.
Right. In my opinion, they are out of control trying to control the 99%. So their debauchery and their lifestyles are so, insane. I would even use the word wicked, you know,
Yep.
that there's no personal control in their life. There's no self-control from these people to the point of like, but yet they want to impose their ideas of control on humanity. And they have a plan. There's a plan. 2025 to 2030. I'm aware of their plan. It's not a nice one, by the way. But there's a plan there. Okay. And anybody who's interested can get on Google and just start your own journey like I did. Okay. Figure out their plan. So it's out there. But the fact that they currently have all that money sitting there, and where is it sitting? Is it sitting underneath their couch cushions? Is it underneath their bed? Is it stuffed in their mattresses? Or is it in the market? Where do
In
you
the
think?
market.
The
What are you
market.
thinking? It's in the market under their control. Am I right? It's under their
Yep.
control
Yes.
to a
Absolutely
point
right.
because
Yes,
anything in the market is in the market, right? It's under their control, except it's in the market, right?
exactly.
So, have you seen what's been happening in the last 2 weeks when it comes to the global market? Has it been kind of weird by observation?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
So markets are acting a bit strange right now. There's some unusual things happening, but I don't want to get into that either. You know what I'm saying? That's who cares? It's temporary. But the point is because of unity on their side, they succeeded. Well, we on this side of things, okay, we have to achieve unity, which we don't have currently today. The 99% are not unified. Can we agree on that? The 99% are not unified.
Agreed.
Nope.
Can we agree? Okay.
Divided.
If the 99% were unified, would the 1%, be able to do all the stuff that they do still?
No.
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 Yeah, they finally see some opposition. But anyway, all right. So through love and gratitude, we can create unity. Okay. And the principles, these divine principles of love, gratitude, and unity are, there's multiple, it's like an onion. You can look at like an onion, you can look at this layer of the onion and relate, love, gratitude, and unity from that layer alone. And then you go to another layer of the onion and it's a completely different angle, the same principles, right? And that's the beauty of a divine principle is that it can penetrate all layers of reality, right? And you can look at it from multiple angles and whatnot. And that video kind of touches on some of that I shared with you. But the fact is that if this community pool funding were a car and combined together our gratitude was the fuel or the gasoline in that car, you could say we're kind of on fumes at the moment. Okay? How far are we going to get, guys, on fumes? You see my point?
Yes.
And I'm not trying to dismiss anyone who's been good. I mean, if you're actually here live with me right now, you're probably better than most of the 2,000-3,000 members that we have because you're actually here in the meeting, right? You're probably better than them in the category of gratitude than the majority. But we got to create this influence that spreads to the entire, group of us. Because what will happen is everybody will become extra powerful. Okay. But here is the challenge when it comes to gratitude. Gratitude is almost like a muscle. Okay. A person that is weak when it comes to gratitude, from their point of view, expressing gratitude feels like they're being fake. Am I making any sense here?
Yes.
Absolutely.
From the point of view of someone that is weak in the expression of gratitude, it's because they themselves are not personally feeling it, right? And then there's a resistance to express something that they're not feeling, right? But lo and behold, the same people that would say, I'm not feeling it, if you ask them, well, would you like to feel it? They say, of course, I'd like to feel it, right? But they're waiting for something external to trigger them so that they can feel it. When they don't realize that the trigger is not in the external, the trigger has always been in the internal. Okay? And like a muscle, if you don't work it, okay, it gets what's the word? Atrophy, right? You get Gregory, help me out here. You're the health and fitness guy.
Atrophy.
It's
Right?
atrophy is what you're
Yes.
looking for.
Yeah, so it's atrophy. So it gets to the point where just like, yeah, it's got no strength. Okay. So what we want to do is take people that might be experiencing gratitude atrophy right now and turn them around and say, just pretend for now that every time you express gratitude, your wallet just increased by $1,000. Just make it a pretense, fake it till you make it. Okay. Just pretend. Right. And eventually what will happen is as people start to respond in kind, okay? So gratitude begets gratitude. Because people start to respond in kind, that feeling will come. Okay, that feeling of gratitude will come. That's how you go from gratitude atrophy to being filled with it. And then from there, love actually comes into focus. Okay? It's very difficult to go straight to love, right? It's easier to start at gratitude and then love actually becomes more, it makes more sense, right? But we can get quite jaded in a world like this where 1%, control and have and own 99% of all the wealth and 99% of all. It's very easy for us to be discouraged and deflated and feeling down, right? Because we a lot of times we're looking to the world to provide us an answer that's just not there when you go to the world. In most cases, not there. In most cases, the more you look at the world, the more discouraged you become. And that's why you've got to look at things on a more divine level and realize that, the saying goes, be in the world, but not of the world, right? Well, what that really means is that you have the ability to go in, find the love, and go in, find that gratitude, right? Got to go there, and then you got to push it out from you out to the world. I hope I'm not making it too, I hope I'm not being too, I don't want to sound like the professor or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I want to encourage you guys to be really good at gratitude because the dividends that it pays is huge. Okay. And most of you are not even aware of that. Now, when I say you, I'm not really necessarily talking to those people that show up, live to my meetings, or even those that actually watch every single one of our pool funding videos that when they come out because they can't attend the meeting, but they make sure to watch every single episode that we put out there on the YouTube channel. But what about the other, couple thousand people that are part of pool funding that are just not paying attention? Okay, at all, right? How do we get their attention and make them see that we have something great now and we really want to take it to the next level and we want to get there sooner versus than later, right? Well, we need to do that by just, those of us that get it, we show it through positive comments. That little tiny click on a thumb, give it a thumbs up, give it a heart, whatever you like, right? Give it a hug or a kiss, those little tiny things that we can do online, they're huge. They're huge. And then if we actually comprehend what someone is trying to say, then sometimes there's a call to action inside of that. And then not only can we express some gratitude, but we can also then carry on the call of action. I'm going to show you a positive comment I'm talking about. That would have been huge if everybody caught on to it. It could have changed the entire day and maybe even change a week if everybody caught on to it. Because the impact could have been gigantic if everybody didn't miss it. Okay. So I'm going to come back to that in a second. Yeah. I'm just trying to put this into words. Once I personally unlocked the secret of gratitude in my life, and it took me decades to do that. I was in my 40s. That's kind of old. Figure out something so simple like gratitude. But yeah, it changed my life. It changed me into being someone I like, right? I can see a wall that on that side of the wall, it was like almost all the time self-loathing, right? Pity for myself, uh, anger. I mean, some real negativity, okay, on that side of the wall. But on this side of the wall was like, feels good. I'm happy. Uh, you know, heaven on earth, right? Like hell on earth, heaven on earth. And that wall was gratitude. Once I figured it out, that as soon as you get on the other side of the wall, you can feel good all the time. And it doesn't even matter what the problem is. It doesn't even matter what the challenge is in front of you at the moment. It doesn't even matter how big or small that might be, right? Because at the end of the day, me, myself, and I, we're always together, right? How about y'all say that with me? Me, myself, and I are always together.
Myself and I are always together.
Yeah. Isn't that true?
True.
So if you're together, then me, myself, and I can be on this side of the wall, angry and upset and feeling negative and desperate and in despair and you know you know very being judgmental and critical of yourself to the point self-loathing. you know you could be there, and that's what me, myself, and I can be experiencing together anyway, right? Or on the other side of the wall, you can be like, I'm ready for love. I'm here to be happy. I'm looking for, lasting relationships. I want to see more kindness. I want to see more understanding and compassion and um, you know, the stuff that makes you feel good, you know? And believe me when I tell you, it's much harder to make money last over here. It's easier to make money last over here. Okay. So any amount of money you get, if you're over in the space of non-gratitude, it won't last. You'll screw it up. Okay. But if you're over here, there's like it's like you get like this endowment of wisdom. Okay. So with on the other side of that wall of gratitude is like an endowment of wisdom that once you are wise, money is a non-issue. You just scoop up what you need when you need it, and and you just trust it. It'll be provided. It's always going to be just enough, if not more than enough. Okay. How many of you like the sound of that?
Words of
I
wisdom.
do.
Yeah. Okay.
Words of wisdom.
Because we're talking about intangible becoming tangible, right? Right. And you get both the feel good and also the tangible benefits of that come with a life of where you're attractive. You become attractive, right? All right. So let me show you that comment I keep telling you about. And you guys might have missed this one, but take a look at this. Share my screen. And I'll explain why I'm picking on this one thing. But it's, we can be grateful about a million different things. Okay. We can be grateful about a million different things, but certain things have a stronger call to action than others. And this is the reason we renamed this the Wall of Joy, because we want people to come in and understand this is the place to download your gratitude. Okay. Meaning every day, put one thing up here, minimum, on the Wall of Joy that's an expression of gratitude, and just try to put something together, you know. I may have to go up a ways to find the comment because it was like yesterday. Let me find it. Don't worry if the wall gets really long. I mean, that's kind of the point of it. It's a stream, right? We don't want this to be a tiny little brook, we want this to be like a river, right? So it's okay. But I'm searching for one specific thing. I'm almost there. I can tell. That's how I responded to it. So here it is. Here it is right here. I wonder if I can make this really big. I'm going to try and copy it. I'm going to see if I can put it into maybe a Word doc. So I want you all to see it here. File, new document. Okay. And let's make it huge. It's 36. Yeah, there we go. All right. Okay. You guys should all be able to see that okay now, right? This comes from the great leader, Leslie. We really appreciate her. Her whole family is awesome. Okay. Leslie writes, "Good morning, family, from sunny Okanagan, BC. I just want to pop in and say that I just purchased $40 of PFG and it raised the coin value by $69,553.58. It really doesn't take much. Okay. Now,
Wow.
that is an expression of gratitude, but it goes to the point. This was also a call to action if you look carefully, right? But I noticed that nobody took action on it, right? But like that's a whole wow, right? That's a whole wow. So basically, I typed into the Giphy thing, holy cow, and I found this one right here. That was my response. Holy cow. Okay. Right? Like like $40 making the price go up 69,553. Come on, that's huge, right? Which only tells you that this video is true. Okay? We are so close to hitting our price target, right? Because it doesn't take much for our coins to go up and back, especially PFG, especially PFG. If you watch carefully what it says here in this video here, right? So basically, Leslie responded to these videos. She saw that I put these videos out there. Hey, we're close to our price targets, and hey, don't shortchange yourself by selling prematurely. You know, let's get to the price targets before there's any concern about selling. But she made an excellent point here. How many think that she made an excellent point here?
Just a nugget
Yes.
of gold.
She made an excellent point, right?
Excellent.
Karen responded with her positive comment. Awesome, Leslie, right? So she contributed. Hunter says, buy the dip. Okay. I responded with this. Wow. Right. I mean, we're feeling good here. Okay. And then Hunter's going to do another price check. And Leslie responds back to Karen. See, now it's reciprocal. So Leslie goes back to Karen for saying, awesome, Leslie, to say, good morning, Karen. That's love right there. You see the love? Okay. All right. And then I put this up there. Okay. There it is. She moved it. It was here. Okay.
Wow.
It was either here or it was here. It was one or the other. But when she started, she moved the price for that $40. That $40 made it jump all the way up to here. Okay. Right. Think about that. $40 did that. Okay. At that time it was 1.1 million. I think we're back down to about 1 million again. It's just kind of like, it kind of drifted down a little again, right? But imagine if everyone like, holy cow, I got $40. Let me put $40 in. What if 100 people, after she put that comment in there, what if 100 people said, damn it, okay. And 100 people just went in and put $40 in right at that same time, right?
You'd
They
have hit
saw
the
that.
price target.
I mean, we'd be past
You
our
almost
price
hit the
target.
price target.
I think,
Yeah.
we're this close, guys. We're this close. We just need a concentrated effort. By the way, we're having another rally. We're going to have our second rally. We're going to do that on Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Okay. So the same time, from the last one. So Saturday at 9:30 p.m. But in the meantime, since you know a rally's coming, why not throw a little bit in there? And you have a little bit extra, We have 4 coins, you can spread it around. So here's the thing. What would happen if a person said, I technically don't have $40? What would happen if they said, I could do $1? What if 300 people came to that same conclusion? I could do $1. I don't have the 40 right now. I'm kind of in a pinch, but I could do $1. What do you think would
Or
happen?
5.
What do you think would
5
happen?
or 10.
Right? I've talked about the widow's mite. Okay. When you have that much leverage, because that if that doesn't show that this is super leverage, and leverage is a wealth creation principle, by the way. Okay. For those that don't know, you want to get wealthy, then you pretty much need to understand the concept of leverage. Okay. If you're going to arrive at wealth. And so it's built right in. You don't have to do anything other than your little tiny contribution, whatever that might be. Okay. Someone else might be looking at that 40. I could do 400, right? Because we're not all the same, right? Some have more, some have less, some are in between, but we're all in it together. So I'm telling you, if we show more gratitude, more people would be willing to contribute. Okay. More people will be willing to buy, right? And sometimes we put all the energy over here where it's like we're trying to stop the sellers, right? And here's the problem with that is that whatever whatever you resist persists, right? So if we put our entire focus on stopping something, then all we're doing is encouraging it, right? Because where focus goes, energy flows, right? So we can't put our entire focus on stopping people, right? Now we have things in place, right? I'll get in, I've talked about that before, but we won't really get into it today.
Yeah.
But we have things in place, to kind of, throttle that back a lot. I was trying to hope to get it down to 0, but it's okay. It's not 0, it's close enough. But where we really need to put our energy is pushing the prices up. I'm telling you that on May 1st, it opens back up where people won't have any concern about doing a penalty, although there might be some people that are inside of a penalty period, right? Because if their penalty period starts on the 25th of April, it's going to probably roll till the 24th or whatever of May, right? So if they're in a 30-day period, penalty, it could, they still might be experiencing a penalty. But for those of you that, that's not an issue, that's not a problem for you, May is so soon, right? So, but again, everything has to be done within reason, right? Which, you can't, take too much out compared to what's going in. And technically, with all the incentives we have, we've kind of put it in a situation where we're ratcheting this thing up so that the incentive to pull something out is, we should get it to the point where it's almost non-existent because the incentives are that powerful. So the desire to pull out. So, but we should be wanting to, get things going. That co-founder bonus hasn't even started. We don't even have 1 day yet because we have to hit price targets first. Okay. Price targets come before counting days towards the co-founder bonus. This is why I wanted to get the price targets done in the month of April so that we can go into the month of May earning, checking off days on what, on the qualifications of, becoming qualified to get a co-founder bonus. So all these things are working like gears in a machine. They all interconnect. But gratitude is like the grease. The more we grease up those gears and that, that we're not breaking things, what I'm saying? Because everything is lubed, what I'm saying? Right? I remember one time I drove my dad's car into the ground. And I was like, I was like, I don't think I was 17. I was pretty stupid at 17. But I didn't put any oil in the car, And then one day I get to a stoplight and the engine froze. Okay. That's what happens when you don't have lube.
Locked up.
That car was toast. Okay. That car was toast. And my dad, he's funny. Small things piss him off, but big things, he's always cool as a cucumber. And I thought he was going to kill me over that, but he didn't. He just I think he thought to himself, have I taught him to do this? I didn't teach him to do this. It's my fault. Okay. I think that's what went on in his head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was just given the keys to the car and I was using it to go, to and from work and things like that. But I drove that car in the ground, man. That was an experience because it didn't have lube. So gratitude lubes up everything, right? Can you imagine how Pool Funding would operate if there's lots of gratitude all over the place, everywhere you go? How many people would be interested in being part of a community that they can't go anywhere inside the community without experiencing that feeling of gratitude. Like over here, it feels like gratitude. Over here, it feels like gratitude. You know, everywhere they go inside the community, there's gratitude everywhere. How many people would be interested in being part of that kind of community? Right?
Yeah.
Am I
Would
right?
help a lot.
Yeah. It's gonna lubricate everything. Okay. That's why it's one of the three. I mean, there's lots of principles that matter and they're all divine. But the three principles that we're focused on in pool funding is love, gratitude, and unity, because with those three, we can achieve our goals. Okay. With those three principles working properly, we can achieve all of our goals. All right. Now, yeah. So can I guarantee that we're going to hit our price targets before the end of the month? No, because it's not up to me, is it? It's up to the collective called pool funding. That's all of you. Okay. So what will happen? We get into the month of May, we may take a bit of a dip. Let's say we don't hit our goals of getting to all the price targets by the end of April. We're probably going to see a tiny dip, but we're going to be pushing just as hard in the month of May to push the price up. There's going to be people that just won't sell because they'll realize that they could lose their spot at being a well, or they come to realize that they have a chance at becoming a well, so they're not interested in selling, they're interested in accumulating. And then we're going to be really educating the people that are doing any kind of selling, and especially anybody that, hits my radar as an excessive seller. I'll be having a one-on-one conversation with them saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? You trying to be one of the 1% that take advantage of everyone else? Or you're only thinking about one yourself, or you understand that this is a community effort, right? Did you really need to do that? But at some point, their ammunition is so small anyway. Oh, well, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to use up whatever ammo they got. Anyway, so look, everything's going to work out fine no matter what happens. I'm just saying that gratitude will get us to where we want to go faster. And that's what I want. I want to arrive sooner. That's what I'm after here. I want to arrive sooner. And so this is a reminder of how important gratitude is. Every time you watch a pool funding video, at the very least, give it a thumbs up, right? Click. How much effort does that take to, one little tap? How hard is that? Right? And isn't it kind of ungrateful not to do that? Right? On the other hand, to even just write one little sentence as a positive comment, or sharing a testimony, when you see these YouTube videos. Look, these videos are the tools that we're using to get other people to be interested in what we're doing. And if it lacks that positive energy coming in the comment section, it's a less effective tool. I mean, common sense should tell you that. Am I right? Or am I right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think we just need to do more, be more, and encourage our teams to be more and do more in the sense of gratitude. Because if we've just become known as this like incredible community, not only is it, amazing support, but you just feel good around these people because the energy is positive. They're just full of gratitude. They're loving on each other all the time. It's, just become attractive in that sense. And that, if this is the kind of energy that comes out of it, why wouldn't it create millions upon millions and billions upon billions for its members? Why wouldn't it? Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
I mean, the system, there are some hardcore mechanics, there's gears, and you got mechanisms, there's a design to all of this, right? And it's attached to the market. Unlike a lot of opportunities, you put money in, they take that money, they dice it up in little pieces, okay, and they just shift it around, and they're just kind of shifting things around, right? And there's no expansion there, right? It's just that some will get more at the expense of those that don't, right? Right? And that's usually how most opportunities work. But because we're attached to the market, which I like to refer to the market as like a bucket of love, right? Just like it works for the other team, They're taking full advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? We can take advantage of it too. It's there. It's a universal thing. This market thing is a universal thing, and we all can access it. And it's got plenty. There's so much there. There's plenty of it to be, to make the individuals inside our community all wealthy. We can raise humanity, make it better. So the giveaway is important. That's just the next layer to all this. And basically it's a flex, right? Saying, hey, look what we can do. It's because we have access to the market, right? Our power to flex like that is because of that market access. Okay. So anytime people come to take a look at us, they're gonna come in with an eye of doubt, an eye of skepticism, even criticism. Okay. Because that's what the world has taught them to do, right? They're all going to be looking at us sideways, right? Is this for real? It's through this giant expression of like, if they see everywhere they go, there's like lots of people saying, yeah, yes, it is good, right? Yay, right? It will make them feel like, well, maybe this is going to work, right? It's not like people are not looking for something to change their life. Everybody wants their life to get better, but they're jaded. They've been burned. Right? They've had a horrible time, and we just want to be that pool of fresh water. Finally, something that they can guzzle down. Something that can bring them relief, make them feel good, and give them real hope again. There's so
An
many
eternal
people who have
spring.
lost their hope. Exactly. I like that. So many people have lost hope in this world. It's getting kind of scary how much hopelessness is being spread around. We want to be that fountain of hope, right? That people can come to and recharge their hope and then engage and encourage them to then duplicate and be just like us. We want to be something worth emulating. Okay. All right. So I think that's what I've got to say today. Was that good or not good?
That's good.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Very
Really
good.
good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. I'm glad you guys agree. Thank you for that. See, me showing you gratitude.
Thanks.
Right. So that's how it works. The cool thing about gratitude is it reciprocates, right? You can thank me and I can thank you back in return, and we both feel great about each other and all that.
Your ripple effect.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. So look, guys, every day you have an opportunity. Every single day you have an opportunity to go to the Wall of Joy, express some gratitude. Go to the YouTube channel, express some gratitude, right? And then maybe it'll put you in a good mood and you start showing some gratitude towards the person sitting next to you on the couch, one of your family members. They actually might like that, what if you everywhere you go, you just be that one that just is bright-eyed and hopeful and filled with light, and you're quick to express gratitude, right? And then that instead of being, instead of gratitude atrophy, you're like gratitude powerful, right?
Don't be
Because
quick to anger. Right.
yeah, slow to anger, but the opposite of slow to anger is being full of love and gratitude, right? So, and understanding and compassion, but gratitude is what will get you. It's the wall that you got to penetrate. Get through that one wall. Everything else is better afterwards. Okay. I'm telling you, stop looking at the world like you got to figure out what's wrong with the world. Instead, start looking for what you want to see more of. So try to keep your eye for things that are praiseworthy. Keep your eye out for things that are worthwhile, and be sure to express gratitude whenever you see it, wherever you see it, whether it's in pool funding or not. Anything that has any appeal, be sure to be one that shows gratitude towards it. Don't be silent. That's where you get the gratitude atrophy. Okay. Your silence is not going to pay. Gratitude, I'm telling you, I mean, if it was quite literally every time you express gratitude, $1,000 would hit your wallet, right? You would all be like, you'd be nonstop expressing gratitude. Am I right?
Yes.
Just pretend that that's true. Just pretend that every time you express gratitude, that $1,000 shows up in your wallet. And then what will happen is it kind of, in a way, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, before you know it, $1,000 is hitting your wallet because that's how powerful you are. Okay. Anybody want to add to, share their thoughts? Who would like to, add to the conversation today before we close out the call? Did I miss any points that were important on the subject?
Gave us a lot to chew on.
Oh, yeah. Something to think about. Okay, good. So
Right.
that's a starting point. Go ahead, Hunter.
To sort of sum it up just a little bit, gratitude shared just begets more gratitude. Love shared just begets more love.
Yep,
Nothing
good
wrong with
point.
that.
Like begets like, right? And we do want to feel good. Here's the thing, guys. I could take any object sitting around me right now on this table that I've got in front of me. I could say good things about it and I could say bad things about it. It's the same object. I could throw positive energy on it. I could throw negative energy on it. It's the same object. But here's the thing that we do anyway. Me, myself, and I are a projector. And whatever it is that we are, me, myself, and I project into the hall of mirrors and it reflects back at me. So if you ever wonder why something you don't really like is going on in your life, start to recognize you're the source of it. And so things don't happen to you, they happen for you. So this hall of mirrors that we're in, everybody's got their own, by the way. This hall of mirrors that we're in is just going to show you more of you anyway. And if you're not paying attention, you might catch yourself in a spiral of feeling bad all the time. Okay, that's very common, by the way. Wouldn't it be better to be in a spiral of feeling good all the time? Isn't that a better spiral to be in? Right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's the one I'm doing. Right? My little happiness bubble, my little heaven on earth, And we've got someone raise their hand. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? I hope maybe her connection's paused.
I must have fell down.
Oh, that was Raquel. Hello,
That was
Raquel.
Raquel.
Hi. This is my second time coming to one of these meetings, and I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed them both times.
Good.
I started a thing about 6 months ago to where I do a gratitude journal every morning, even if it's the littlest thing, just to help me change my mindset and my moods, because I was in a really dark place and it helped tremendously. So it does help to, just find something small to be grateful for every day. So I just wanted to share that.
When I talked about that wall, then you could really relate to that, huh?
Yeah.
There's like
Yeah.
there's
I was
something
hitting a
there's
wall
something
constantly.
different, right? There's something different on that side because the experience is so different. So from the point of being on purpose about gratitude, right, where you're doing a journal after all, you know what I'm saying? That created a new situation after you started that practice. Excellent, excellent, excellent practice, by the way.
Thanks.
It's you didn't invent the idea of gratitude journaling, but I've heard it, from many people, and you are
Yeah, I had
testifying
somebody suggest it
it
to me.
works, right? It works, right?
Yes, it works. Yep. I
Yeah.
was kind of always angry I had to get up in the morning and do stuff, and now I'm grateful that I get up, get my cup of coffee, write down what I'm grateful for, and start my day, and it helps a
Good.
lot.
Good.
Yeah, and people go from like, well, I have to do this to I get to do this, right?
Right.
And it's the same thing, the same object, right?
Yeah.
All right, excellent point. Thanks for sharing that, Raquel. Appreciate you stepping up. So, all right, good deal, guys. Yeah. So anybody, if you do a brief self-examination, if you find yourself in that category of gratitude atrophy, like this particular meeting is a little hard to choke on. You're kind of choking on it a little bit. It's a little bit too icky sweet or whatever you want to call it. If it's coming across that way to you, this is kind of we want you to do a self-examination and ask yourself, don't you care about how you feel? And if you don't care how you feel, then I guess it doesn't matter, does it? But if you do care about how you feel, then don't you have some responsibility to manifest it yourself, right? Instead of saying, I'm just here and everything's happening to me, and I'm just, like this little, this little cork floating on the ocean, you know what I'm saying? And it's just tossing me everywhere it wants to toss me. If that's how you're going to live your life, it's like you don't have any responsibility at all. And then how, it could be a miserable life for you. It could be kind of hard to be dashed against rocks and stuff and eaten by fish, and then maybe, whatever, going through the whole cycle of being eaten, right? All that. So why look at life that way when you can say, if you give me a little bit, I can do a lot, and then from there I can build upon that, and then you can just find that you have more control over the outcomes in your life, right? The other side figured that out. Okay, the other side, they know that they can control things. They have little secret meetings, and they share things like the Genesis principle and things like that with each other, right? And then they keep it like secret from everybody else, so you can't know about that, right? Can't know about the eighth principle, right? So they have their secrets. They don't want people to know, the emerald tablets, and there's lots of stuff they want to keep secret, guys. It's not, now we got the internet, it's not secret anymore. Okay. So realize that the same thing that has worked for those guys, and they're on the opposite team, it can work for us too, but it will work even easier for us because we're coming from like a good place, and it's actually easier inside the good place than it is the bad place. It's easier. It's easier to make this stuff work because it's divine. In the nature of it, it's divine. So, yeah, thank you all for coming. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. You matter to me. I enjoy meeting with you. I enjoy talking to you each one by one.
We love you, Ace.
Love you too, man.
Thank you.
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
why
you so
we're here.
much. And we're getting there. So let's get to those price targets. I'm counting on the collective of pool funding to pull it off. And with Leslie's comment as our inspiration, like, holy cow, go look at that comment again. Okay, go back there and you think about the power. $40 made almost a $70,000 move in the price upward, right? That,
Where else could you find that?
we are so close to hitting the target, guys. If we can
Where
make
else?
$70,000 moves, on a little tiny bit like $40, right? So think about it, guys. We can make this happen, but it's just all this self-doubt and all this over concern, and the stuff is kind of gumming us up right now, right? It's almost like sand. We want to be lubricated. We don't want the gears to be full of sand, do we? And imagine all the friction and the grinding if you put a bunch of sand inside of gears, of the machinery and pool funding. No, we want to lubricate that, man, and put as much gratitude in there as get it nice and where it's no friction and all just feel good and smooth, and yeah, and we can get to our price target before the end of the month on all four of our coins. I know we can do it. It's not like there's a lack of money inside of the 2,000 or 3,000 people that we have here. We don't lack the money to make it happen. It's there. It's just that there's a lack of confidence in the collective, and we need to put more gratitude into work to increase our confidence in ourselves as a collective. That's the key right there. See why I made this the point of my meeting today? Okay.
That'll make us more attractive.
All right. There you go, guys. So I'll go ahead and let's see if I can come up with something clever today. I want to just say I'm thankful for everything. And I really mean it. How many can say the same thing?
Mm.
I'm
Thankful
thankful
for
for
everything.
everything.
Thankful
really
for
mean it.
everything.
Thankful
Yeah.
for everything.
Thankful for everything.
And I
Thank you
really
so
mean
much
it.
for everything, sir.
Everything.
I'm thankful
Everything.
for love, unity, and gratitude.